We had some big returns, we had some so-called big matches, and we had a big fat ass in the form of Willow Nightingale, but none of that was enough to make AEW Rampage a good hour of wrestling television. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Wrestling, here to review AEW Rampage from the 24th of February 2023. We were coming to you from, well, I say we, it wasn't we, I have nothing to do with AEW, and I'm actually grateful because the company absolutely sucks, but they were coming to you from the Footprint Center in Phoenix, Arizona. The commentary team, again, four-man booth: Tony Schiavone, Jim Ross, Chris Jericho, and Excalibur. I don't know if I pronounced his name right, but he sucks, so I'm not interested in pronouncing his name. We'll call him the Masked Man for the sake of this video. I don't know why they have a four-man commentary team. I think it's too many. I mean, three... You can argue 3 is too many, 4's definitely overkill, and it's different if someone's doing colour commentary for like one match and they're making a special appearance, but honestly, why do they need the entire commentary team to be 4 people? Why can't they drop Excalibur? You know, I just don't get it. I don't understand it. The guy already bores us for 2 hours on Wednesday. Why does he need to be here to add an extra hour on Friday? No one cares about him anyway. We care about Jim Ross, we care about Tony Schiavone, and I guess if Chris Jericho's going to do commentary, then we kind of care about him too. But nobody cares about the Masked Man, Excalibur, so I just wish he would disappear from commentary. But speaking of wanting people to disappear, first match, the Young Bucks with Kenny Omega taking on Aussie Open. Now, you might be thinking, who the hell are Aussie Open? Well, apparently they're a jobber tag team that follows around Will Ospreay, and when they team up with Will Ospreay, not only do they make a freeway, you know, group, faction, whatever, Dave Meltzer also creams his pants, but Will Ospreay wasn't here tonight. I think together they're called the United Kingdom or some shit like that. But what, like I said, Will Ospreay wasn't in AEW, so Dave Meltzer was sitting at home depressed, and we get the Jobber 2 versus the Young Bucks, and of course, predictable. We knew that the Young Bucks were going to win. I mean, when Will Ospreay teams up with Aussie Open, they can't beat the Elite. So they're hardly going to beat the Elite when the only guy that matters in this trio isn't there. So yeah, of course the Young Bucks win. We had typical Young Bucks manoeuvres. Aussie Open hit a big massive, they hit like this jumping tombstone, and then they decide to lift Nick Jackson up to hit a clothesline. Why the fuck would you hit a tombstone and then not get the pin and go for a clothesline? Makes no sense. The Young Bucks hit their double team finisher. Looks incredibly weak. You know, the double knees, whatever they call it. I know Omega calls it the fee trigger. I don't know what the Young Bucks call it. But they win with this move and it just does not look impressive. It just doesn't. It's weird. They hit all these big moves that they don't even go for pins after, but then they hit like a shitty knee and it gets the free count. You know, it's mad. But anyway, the Young Bucks win. The lights went out during the match, and then the lights come back on again, and we get House of Black, and it's all members of House of Black. So we had Alakai Black, we had Brody King, we had Buddy Matthews, and we had Julia Hart. Julia Hart here, the only member of the group that I like, just basically due to the fact she's hot. So Julia Hart, using her female privilege here. You don't need to be impressive. You don't need to be talented. All you need to be is a good-looking chick, and that automatically, you know, that automatically puts you towards the top of this roster. I mean, it's sad but true, but I mean, you look at the history of the world and, you know, a hot chick is better than a half-decent talented man. It is what it is. No one cares about the House of Black, but people do care about Julia Hart because she's good to look at. She's hot. Anyway, we move on. Speaking of hot, Willow Nightingale is not. But it's kind of weird because she's fat. There's no denying she's fat. But she's too fat where you can't get away with calling her like thick or thin. She's definitely not thin, but she's like fat enough to be fat, but she's not fat enough to be like so fat that you could use her weight as like a gimmick. Like, she doesn't look like Awesome Kong. She doesn't look like Nia Jax. Not that it would matter, because they wouldn't do that. They wouldn't use a woman's weight and try to use it to her advantage. No, because that would be degrading to women or something, insulting to women, even though she is fat. And her size does give her an advantage, but you'll notice in wrestling, they used to do it in TNA with Awesome Kong, but you look at WWE, Nia Jax, Doudrop, it doesn't matter. Even though the women are fat as fuck, they will never point this out. They will never say, wow, Doudrop is a fat bitch. If she lands on Carmella, she could squash her like a pancake. I mean, that's what they could say, but they will never say that, because they have to just pretend, oh, Doudrop is, oh, she's strong. No, she's not. She's fucking fat. Just like Willow Nightingale. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Toni Storm wins. Who cares? Toni Storm and Saraya get the spray paint out, but out comes Ruby Soho to make the save, and then Jamie Hayter and Britt Baker come out, and they start brawling with Saraya and Toni Storm, and then we get Soho and Nightingale standing tall in the ring. Garbage. Absolute garbage. The Acclaimed were here, but they get jumped by the Guns backstage, so not a lot happening there. Then we got the return of Lance Archer with Jake the Snake Roberts. It's good to see Jake the Snake Roberts being alive, being able to walk. Last time we seen him in AEW, he didn't look too good. He had the oxygen tank. Yeah, let's be honest, he looked fucked. The last time we seen Jake the Snake Roberts, things did not look good for the Snake, but he looked a wee bit better tonight. He was walking, he didn't have the oxygen tank. He's alive, goddammit. Jake's alive, so at least that's got something good going for him. Lance Archer then defeats some guy called Bryce Saturn. Just another throwaway Rampage, jobber squash match that ends in like 10 seconds. Get lots of these every week, nothing new here. Then we move on to the main event. Sammy Guevara with Daniel Garcia versus Action Andretti. Right, let's be honest, right? The Jericho Appreciation Society are absolutely fucking terrible. This faction sucks, right? The name alone absolutely sucks. Could you imagine if Evolution wasn't called Evolution? It was called Let's All Kiss Triple H's Big Fucking Nose. Could you imagine if that's what it was called, and it was just Batista, Randy Orton and Ric Flair kissing up to Triple H? That's what the equivalent of the Jericho Appreciation Society is. It's just a bunch of young guys that are almost starstruck by Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho is like, the star of the faction, and everyone else is a bum. It's not like Evolution at all. Look at Evolution. Batista and Randy Orton, they joined as rookies. By the time they left Evolution, they were stars. They were world champions. They were main event level players. Ric Flair, his career pretty much dead, joined Evolution, and it rejuvenated his career. It prolonged Ric Flair's career. Ric Flair went and got a few more good years in his career after Evolution before retiring. What's going to happen with the Jericho Appreciation Society? Who is going to be the next breakout star in this faction? Nobody. It's just Jericho with a bunch of fucking bombs, and Jericho can claim that he's getting these guys over. He can claim he made Action Andretti into a star in one night. He didn't. Action Andretti is going nowhere. He will go nowhere. In 5 years' time, Daniel Garcia, Sammy Guevara, they will not be main event stars. They will not be big-time players. They will not be in a position of Batista and Randy Orton. The whole thing fucking sucks. It's the worst faction I've ever seen. There was no need for another Jericho faction. They started off with the Inner Circle, and I wasn't a massive fan of the Inner Circle, but it was better than this. At least the name. At least it was a pretty cool name, and it had like the conspiracy sort of thing to it. It had like You know, all the weird, the Inner Circle, it was a cool looking name, they had the logo, everything looked good. What's the Jericho Appreciation Society? A bunch of guys that appreciate Jericho, a bunch of guys that want to kiss Jericho's arse. Why? We've got a man in his 50s going through a midlife crisis, and he's teaming up with a bunch of bums. Look at the Inner Circle. What did the Inner Circle do for the people in that? Jake Hager. This went absolutely nowhere. Ortiz and the other bum from the fake LAX, they've went absolutely nowhere. Sammy Guevara, where's he went since the Inner Circle? Nowhere. He's still teaming up with Jericho. I mean, Jericho, I love Jericho. I think Jericho is fantastic, man. You know, one of my all-time favourites. But Jericho in AEW has been garbage ever since his world title reign ended. The guy has absolutely sucked. His factions aren't getting anybody over. They're just a waste of time. He can claim the Jericho Appreciation Society is going to put all these 5 guys to the top. It's not. Let's be real. If this faction disbanded right now, if Jericho retired right now, what would happen to Danny Garcia and Sammy Guevara and Daddy Magic and Matt Menard and the other fucking guy? No, nothing would happen to them. They suck. They absolutely suck. They'd be wrestling on AEW Dark. They'd be wrestling in Ring of Honor. This faction is going nowhere. This faction is creating no stars. And I'm sorry, Jericho, you ain't creating a star. Remember Jericho tried to claim that he made Orange Cassidy into a household name? He made Orange Cassidy into a main event player because of the feud he had with Orange Cassidy. Orange Cassidy's doing nothing. Oh yeah, he's got a title that doesn't mean shit. The All Atlantic title. It doesn't mean shit. He's beating other bums. Orange Cassidy is no higher up the card than he was when AEW first started. Same for like Darby Allin. None of these guys have improved. And Ricky Starks, I guarantee you, 6 months from now, Ricky Starks will be nowhere further up the card than he is right now after his feud with Jericho, man. It is what it is. Anyway, rant there. Sammy Guevara with Daniel Garcia. He beats Action Andretti. Who cares? End of the match. Jericho comes in. He raises the hands of Garcia and Sammy Guevara. But honestly, I don't care, man. I do not give a shit. That's the end of the show. You know what? I'm going to give it a 1 out of 10. The reason I'm giving it a 1 is we got to see Jake the Snake Roberts and he's still alive. He's no deed. He's able to walk. He's moving. And that, guys, is pretty good news. So yeah, I'm glad that we've got Jake the Snake Roberts. I'm glad that Jake the Snake Roberts is still breathing, is still alive, is still with us in 2023. Because the last time we've seen him, he did look in really bad shape. So there you go. I'm giving it a 1 out of 10. Let me know your thoughts down below. It wasn't a good show. It never is a good show. But yeah, Jake's still alive. Julia Hart's hot. And that's about all I've got to say about AEW Rampage. Till next time, guys. By the way, AEW Fight Forever. Yeah, this channel is going to get a lot more gaming content in the year 2023. Now, we did have some gaming content when WWE 2K22 came out, and it did die off. I'm not going to deny that. We were also playing WWE SmackDown vs. Raw 2007. That is also going to return. Just, we've had a lot of time. Well, I say we've had a lot of time. We've had no time. We've had a lot of stuff on our plates, and we've had very little time for the gaming content. But the gaming content is going to come back. But the whole point of me bringing that up is, where the hell is AEW Fight Forever? This game keeps getting pushed back. This game keeps getting delayed. Honestly, I don't know if the game is going to get released. I don't know if they're embarrassed to release the game because the graphics look nothing short of like fucking GameCube. It's like playing a GameCube or a Nintendo 64. The graphics for this game are absolutely shocking. But honestly, what I think it is, I think they're delaying it. I think they want to release it around the same period of 2K23. I think they're that sad. I think Tony Khan either wants to release it the week before WWE 2K23 to try and steal its thunder, or maybe release it after 2K23 and be like, yo, don't buy that crap game, buy our crap game instead. Anyway, AEW Fight Forever. When it is released, you'll see it here on this channel. I don't know what they've got. Have they got career modes, GM modes, universe modes? I don't know, but whatever they've got, we'll be playing it. Anyway, guys, that's it. Leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe. We'll catch you in the next one. And of course, until then, peace.